My question really is, if there is no community plan or vision for the Phoenix Center, why take out a piece of money and not get to where you need to get to in order to build something that's going to generate revenue in the future and come back? And so I understand the structural repairs are somewhere around $17 million over the next 10 years or whatever from the estimates that they've been able to show me. If you're only getting 19.5 in bonds, that only leaves $2 million for improvement, and that's if everything goes absolutely correctly and all those projections are there. My fear is that because I think we're doing this backwards, I think we need to decide how much money we really want to sink into the Phoenix Center and what we want that to look like as a community, and then go from there. If we just want to simply maintenance it, then we need to find out the lowest dollar amount possible to meet the obligations and warehouse it, and then allocate people to do that. If we want to actually use it and have something that the citizens can be proud of, then I think it's going to take more money than what you guys are asking for in this bond allocation. And what I don't want to do is have the citizens think that if the council does vote to issue these bonds, that they're going to have something they can use, and then they find out, no, all that did was bring it up to basic code. And I haven't seen any projections or numbers on what that looks like. I don't see anything other than extending the life of a garage. And so I didn't see the report on what it takes to make the amphitheater viable. The mayor brought in, I think 2 years ago or 3 years ago now, the Center for New Urbanism, and they did a charrette, and they talked about having soccer things on top of the Phoenix Center. I don't see a plan that encompasses any of that, but we're about to spend a major chunk of money. If we're spending money and we know that we're going to have something that's going to be an investment for the future, it makes my decision a whole lot easier than just covering the damage that was done by emergency manager in the lawsuit. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so and I don't know if this is for the accountant, I don't know if it's for the attorneys. What would it really take to make the Phoenix Center a comparable space to the Shane Park or Aretha Franklin or any or Pine Knob or any usable venue that would that an act would be happy to come to the city to use?
Of course, that's not a finance question, that's a strategic question. And that to do a Shane Park, I don't know how much it costs for Shane Park, but it's a lot more than what we want to spend right now. But you are right. We did do an appreciation when we did that charrette, and we had a $100,000 grant from the Congress of New Urbanism that we did. And, some of you participated in that. A lot of people did participate to envision what that development of that part of town with the Phoenix Center garage in place would look like. So that's what's guiding the way we're doing that reconstruction and renovation of that part of town, and it guides some of the other repairs and renovations we're anticipating. In addition to the fact that as we sent out this RFQ, sometimes you just send out an RFQ, which we did, and you just say, fix the concrete and patch it up and do what needs to do to bring it up under code. We did take a little extra time when we sent out the RFQ, because in that RFQ I did put down a segment that said, given the fact that we have done this charrette, and given the fact that as a community we have looked to see what that structure meant to the development of that part of our downtown as a catalyst to the rest of the development of our downtown, I did say to the applicants on the owner's rep that I wanted them to have that in mind when they submitted their proposals. So to that extent, we did take on and did include in that charrette the vision, but what it might be other than just a garage. But right now what we're doing is just fulfilling the terms of the settlement agreement, which we're bound to do, which you signed on to do, which is going to make sure that we abide by the principles so that we aren't in default of that settlement. So that's what we're doing right now, but we are doing it with an eye to what other things that might develop. That development hasn't come to us right now. We don't have in our pockets right now the other, I don't know, 40, 60, $90 million it would take to do a Shane Park someday. but we got to start with this right now.
Okay, I guess I'm not articulating correctly what I need to say. $19.5 million of taxpayer money that we're bonding. If it's only going to get us to basic, then that's a different answer than if we bond out for $30 million and get something that's usable. What I'm saying to you is the vision that you set with the RFP, nobody has sold that vision to me as a council person to further issue any bonds. Right now, we can take general fund money and make it a priority and stop doing some other things and pay for the renovation of the Phoenix Center without a bond. Now, that would be painful, but it could be done. I'm just trying to weigh the options, because if it just takes $10 million to fix it, why authorize bonds for 19 when you can just do 10 and meet the obligations, and everybody knows that all we're doing is putting Band-Aids on the building to make sure that we don't default on our settlement. Excuse me, ma'am, we're in the middle of a meeting. So that's where I am. So does anybody have?
I had a couple.
Go ahead.
Back again, I agree with the president. And the other thing is, I mean, right now, we don't have a plan. You want the money, but we don't have a plan. You're going to need some personnel, you're going to need some Keystone cops, or whatever it is to watch over this garage that we never had before. We haven't even had a price even for ADA compatibility if it's going to be made even for the handicaps. I mean, right now, until you have a plan, I'd say this is just bullshit. We just ought to come back with some money when you got a plan set up of where we need to go. But as far as the settlement,
Councilman Carter,
I'm sorry.
your language, sir.
oh, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I mean, it's a frustrating thing up here trying to kind of give money away to a piece of bad, and take away from street repairs, take away from leaf cleaning only twice a year when you can get it done 3 times.
Tree trimming, things
So
on and on.
we need I suggest we either have a plan, a site plan with a timeline on it, what it's going to cost for these security guards who's going to watch over this, since it's ours now. I'm pretty sure somebody needs to be watching. Is this coming out of general fund money also?
Yeah.
I mean, before the bonds come up, we paying for something that we didn't budget for.
I see you. I see you.
Thank you. Sorry.
I see you.
Okay.
No.